Hello, welcome back, or welcome to my channel. Today we're reacting to Madison Beer's sophomore album, Silence Between Songs. But before we hop into the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you love all things music. So I've already reacted to what I considered the lead singles, even though I don't know if they are the official lead singles, Spinnin' and Home to Another One, and I'll link those videos up here. But this is a 14-track album, but we've kind of already heard 4, 5, a couple of these songs. So we have Spinnin', Home to Another One, Show Me How I Fell in Love with You, Dangerous, and Reckless. And I'm like, Reckless is a throwback, because Reckless came out, I feel like, a while ago. It came out sort of around the time of the release of her first album, her debut album. But yeah, so we won't be listening to those songs, so I think that puts us at about 9 songs for reacting today. And we've got a bunch of short songs, so I'm curious to see. But just given what we've listened to, vibes could be very sad, could be very fun, I don't know. Based on this track list, the songs that I would like to claim is the title track, Silence Between Songs, and then the closing track, King of Everything, because I always like to figure out what the hell you want to close your album with, and it is the longest song on here, so. Also, I'm being thrown to that Cerebrella song, King of Anything, or whatever it is, so I'm curious. But yeah, like with all of my reactions due to copyright, things will likely be sped up. We've already reacted to track 1, Spinnin', but we will be reacting to track 2 first, and that's called Sweet Relief.
Godspeed, I can't be around you right now. Don't speak, it's a problem, it's addictive. I need you to listen to me, baby, listen to me. It's something only we hear now. Maybe I can help myself. I'm seeing you everywhere I go. I don't think of anyone else. All I need, sweet relief.
Damn. See, when she was first dropping singles for this, like Dangerous and Show Me How I Fell in Love with You, those are not necessarily my favorites. And then she goes into Home to Another One. And then we have Spinnin', and then sonically we start building this universe that sounds amazing. And obviously Reckless. I've cried to Reckless so much. This sound sonically is just scratching an itch. And I'm getting the vibes, or from what I'm hearing from lyrics, this is about a person that she is totally enthralled with, but she feels like she really shouldn't be, and they just keep living rent-free in their brain, and they just need sweet relief from this person living up there. And it just sounds great. I didn't really talk too much about her debut album, and her debut album was just amazing. I mean, I can't really say anything else. I've listened to songs from that album over and over again consistently since it came out. Blue, Stained Glass, amazing. They just, they live in my head rent-free. So I'm curious to see how the rest of this song and the rest of this album goes. That was a fun one. I'm enjoying where we're going so far. You can definitely see how sonically Spinnin' goes into Sweet Relief. And then up next is track 3, Envy the Leaves, a slightly longer track at 3:19. So I'm curious, Envy the Leaves. Madison is known for her discussions of mental health, and I'm curious to see if this is where this is taking us.
I envy the leaves that grow from the trees. They're all so carefree through the seasons, unaware of the fall. Why don't we lie and act like the best is yet to come? Why don't we try that just for once?
I'm sorry, I envy the leaves who live basically carefree, just growing on their tree, not realizing they're about to fall. How the drop in the water doesn't just exist and just is. Why do we live like the best is the yet to come? I'm sorry, Madison. I cannot tear up today, or at least I cannot tear up right now. We have things to do after this, and makeup shall not be ruined, and too much eyeshadow to cry anyways. But I knew it. I knew it. She'd be throwing the gut punches at me emotionally, and I guess we'll see what else the song throws my way, because so far it's got me going.
I envy the snow, how it's blissfully cold. The world around it is melting. it still doesn't know.
Before we hop in this bridge, I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting the gist of this song about having a little bit of that youthful and blissful ignorance and how great it would be to have that once again. Like how the snow doesn't realize that the world is melting around them. They just are. They are existing. They are there. And I definitely kind of catching on with where she's going with this, but it sounds like the bridge is going to go some other places. I was not expecting that outro there, because she had these beautiful, like, ethereal vocals and went like, whoop, down to something else. I might need to listen to that one just a little more. I don't know how I feel yet. But she is really leaning into those beautiful ethereal vocals, like soft vocals, high notes for this album, and I'm quite enjoying it. But up next is track 17, and I'm wondering if this is going to be another sad girl hour. Another sad girl hour. For someone who decided to open up her sophomore album with the song Spinnin' and then said track 3 is Envy the Leaves, I expect nothing else. But who knows, maybe 17 could be a happy song.
17, I can't recall a thing. I cry for help, but no one's ever listening.
It sounds nice and jazzy and groovy, but the lyrics are anything but. She's talking about 17, which I can't remember all the details of everything that happened when she's 17, but I know it was not a great time. She's like, 17, I don't remember a thing. Life went too fast, and man, if I could go back, I would start to slow things down for myself. And, interesting. I'm curious to see where these lyrics take us, because right now the story is building to a not so happy one. I mean, literally, she's basically saying my whole life I've not really gotten to, like, smell flowers, sit with the flowers, run with flowers. And, you know, they keep saying that everything is going to be okay, but I'm not okay. I mean, the whole, she's basically been going a mile a minute. Her mind's been going a mile a minute. She's been going that. And she just really hasn't been given the chance in life to just sit back and, like, enjoy the things that are around her and going around her. And I can see why this conceptually follows Envy the Leaves, because it kind of has similar thought process to just having a little bit of that momentary bliss. But this one's kind of talking about, like, the opposite end of Envy the Leaves, of like, I want this, and then talking about how I don't have this.
21, it should have been so fun. Cherry red, I wish I had more time.
We aged up to 21, and she said it should be fun, but, you know, I guess she's kind of, like, tying together these points in her life where they're supposed to be, like, happy, joyous times. Like, 17 is, like, senior year of high school. It's like you're not quite an adult, but you're, like, nearing the end of what is considered childhood. Legally, it should be fun. You should be basking in that, but you're not. And then 21, like, oh, you're old enough to drink. You should be able to go out and party. It's like you're, like, in your young adulthood, like, fully in that mindset, and wasn't quite there. I'm definitely enjoying this. I don't think we're going to get, like, a huge bridge moment, which, granted, this album so far really hasn't had huge, like, bridges, other than maybe some, like, vocal numbers going on there. And, of course, she ends the song with, like, repeating how long, till basically, you know, she gets this, or how long till life is okay. Definitely getting throwbacks to Olivia Rodrigo Guts and Teenage Dream, given that ending there. But up next is track 5, Ryder, and this is over 4 minutes long, so I'm curious. And it's spelled like the name Ryder, so I assume it's about a person?
Grew up in the same house, so I know why you lashed out. Oh, I understand you more than you think. I just left you out. You still love me somehow. You just wanted a friend. Didn't know then, now I do.
I think she said that there was a song on this album about her brother. And, got me teared up again, babes. She's basically like apologizing for not, I guess, being the best sister or not doing her best when it came to him. I mean, I'm the older sister. I don't know. I mean, obviously this is affecting me because I'm tearing up. But yeah, I'm not going to probably say too much on this song because I don't know how emotionally if I can handle speaking more into it.
Two kids caught in the crossfire. Close your eyes, I know you're so tired. Just kiss you and I know it's hard sometimes, but you'll be alright. We'll be alright.
That chorus had no reason to be as personally attacking against me as it did. And the fact that I relate to that just a little too much, personally hurts me. Beautiful. Beautiful song. Beautiful lyricism. This is gonna have me going. Well, yeah, just, yep, I teared up, I'm just gonna go into the next song, Nothing Matters But You, and, this one's a short one, so I'm hoping that it's not super sad, but then again, Spinnin' was a short one, and that's super sad, and we're following Ryder with a song that's titled Nothing Matters But You, and I am ranting and raving right now, so let's move on to the next song.
I don't know how I survived before I met you. Watching you through glassy eyes, sinking into blue. Nothing matters but you.
So obviously she's falling for this person, and she's like, if you don't put an end to this, I will just keep falling and fall into that hole that I've dug specifically for you in my mind. She really said hauntingly beautiful. That is the best way I can describe this. There's a modern vintage style and quality to the way it sounds, but it also is like I said, the hauntingly beautiful. Like, this is definitely your fall album. The cover art is definitely fall, but like the vocals and just the general sad girl hours is giving me that. And does love a high note. The only thing else I'll point out with the song is she said, I think the world is only spinning around you, and obviously the title track is Spinning, where she's like, I think the world stopped spinning today. So I don't know if this song was written before or after that. So either this person restarted the circulation of the earth, or this person is the reason the earth stopped spinning. So I'm curious about that. But up next is another short track, and it's called I Wonder. Is it going to be another hauntingly beautiful track? I'm curious.
I wonder why all of the clouds clear from the sky. I wonder why all of the tears dry from my eyes. I woke up happy, watched the sunrise.
This is another groovy, jazzy number. Again, that modern vintage that we're getting here. But this one, after Nothing Matters But You, after the kind of falling, this person's like, ooh, as like, after all these dark, sad times, I'm trying to figure out why. I'm like, the sun is shining, the air is clear, the general atmosphere is like bright and happy. Hence, the general shining sun that just decided to come out of the sky today. Yeah, I was like, this one I think will be a bit of a happier number, even though we have a slightly, I feel like, darker beat to it.
Now each breath is very sweeter. Birds are singing, grass is greener. Suddenly the world is bright again.
Oh, she ended it on a nice little giggle. You can definitely tell that that song made her happy. And I like that we've got some happier numbers, because the next song is titled At Your Worst, and is this her being at her worst, or the person that she has previously talked about being at their worst? Because I think the happiness might be about to burst, given the next few songs after this that we've already heard don't necessarily paint the happiest of pictures when it comes to relationships.
I tell myself to cry on cue. I close my eyes and think of you. Yes, I hope I never hate myself the way I know you hate yourself. It hurts to see you hurt the ones who love you at your worst. I'm sorry you don't trust yourself enough to trust somebody else. It hurts to see you hurt the only ones who love you at your worst.
I hate to see you hurt the only ones that love you at your worst. She's like, I taught myself to cry on cue. It's not that hard. All I have to do is think of you. This one, we're sliding back into sad times. This happiness did not last. I'm like, girl, I hope you find that happiness deep within some of these songs in real life, hopefully. But yeah, I see that, trying to love someone who doesn't really necessarily know how to love themselves yet, or know how to accept love. Now that one's a hard one. Yeah, I realize that I don't have a lot to say about these last few tracks, but they are shorter tracks, and I feel like they're very straightforward in the lyricism about what they're about and like how they're telling and crafting a story, which I think is a great thing for an artist to do.
Sometimes I still hate myself, the way you made me hate myself. It hurts to know I hurt the ones who love me at my worst. I'm sorry.
And she flipped it around for the end there. She's like, sometimes I still hate myself the way you made me hate myself, and I hate the fact that I hurt the people who love me at my worst. I mean, nothing much more to say other than I'm hoping that this person is not currently in your life, and I hope you learn to trust again, because I feel like this feeling is an all too common feeling. But up next, track 9, 10, and 11, and 12 we've all listened to before, at least I've listened to. They've been out for a hot second. But we're going to the last two tracks, Silence Between Songs and King of Everything. And Silence Between Songs is one of the shortest tracks on this album, and it's the title track. So I'm curious to see what this song brings to like the concept of the album.
You wanna know the demons in my head, but you don't know. You're sleeping in your bed, I pop a pill to try and numb the pain when it's just me and my brain. I'm medicated. I never knew that the silence between songs could be so lonely and so long till I lost you.
Excuse me, lyricism? I don't know what song this is reminding me of, like, beat-wise. I mean, only in, like, certain parts I'm getting something thrown back to something. But, like, you literally made me feel so bad the moment I lost you that I'm basically needing to medicate the pain away. I mean, she really just knows how to call it out left, right, and center. And I'm just, I don't know that I can say much more other than she really spelled it out for you about what this person did and what happened once they left. I figured she'd do something with silence after the song. She literally ends it with like, so listen closer to the silence after this song. And obviously she was really talking about how she really just cannot be left to her own devices, to her own thoughts, because they take her to some very dark places. But lastly, the last track, the track to close it all, King of Everything, the longest track on here. So I'm curious, just based on the themes of this album, if we're about to find out some tea about a certain person that has been discussed.
Look at you go, walking on everyone like stepping stone, building a home made up of gold. Baby, you're the king of everything, building castles in the sand that crumble in your head. Baby, you're the king of everything, and right now you're the man, but no one gives a damn.
So the whole concept is like, you've got everything right now. You are the king of everything, but eventually all the questionable / bad moves you made, the bridges you burned to get to where you're at, are eventually going to come to get you. You know, you're alone now. You're up there, solitary, lonely. And eventually at some point when the rain comes to wash everything away, you're going to be the king of nothing. And I think this is a great way to end it, because it's kind of ending on like a note of like realizing like that just because you were kind of like a pawn in this game that they were playing, you realize that in the end karma's a bitch. And I feel like that's at least in mine. Maybe I'm just on my Taylor Swift train, and I'm also in my petty era of life. I feel like that's my interpretation, even though it's a lot more beautifully and eloquently said than that.
So young, riding the high road on everyone's love, easy coming.
these young women seem to be singing about men who take advantage of young girls. And I feel like at least I'm happy that we're living in an era where people are finally getting called out for the bullshit that they do. Because some of these men have been going on for too long. And she ended that with just sort of like a repetition of the chorus, but she built and built and built those vocals and those instrumentals, and then we close it out with a little piano number. And I think that was a great way to close out the album. And that was my reaction to Madison Beer's sophomore album, Silence Between Songs. I need to compare albums, like listen to them to figure out which album I think I like more. But this one definitely took a turn for me. It just like, some of these songs had me in my feels. I have no earthly idea what's going to be near the top. I mean, I've listened to Reckless so many times since it came out a couple years ago, and I absolutely love that song, so I don't know what's going to compare to that. But right now, I mean, we all know how I felt listening to Ryder. That one, hello. So it's probably been a few days, so here's my preliminary ranking of these songs. Some songs have a little bit of an advantage, I'm just going to say. Yeah. But let me know what your favorite song on the album was, whether or not you think this one is your preferred over the original, and let me know what you want me to react to next.